it's Corinna Essa here, CEO of Social Media Worldwide, and you're listening to the 360 Entrepreneur with Jan Ilunga.
This is episode 156, and in this one we talk about getting the most out of social media. Here we go.
Welcome to the 360 Entrepreneur Podcast, the show for entrepreneurs and small business owners who dream big and want to do bigger. Join some of the world's top entrepreneurs, internet marketers, and best-selling authors as they share their inspiring stories, their struggles, and give actionable tips that will help you build, grow, and promote your online business. Here's your host, Yanni Lunga.
Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to this new episode of the 360 Entrepreneur Podcast. And this one, more than a podcast episode, is more of a kind of workshop on social media, really. So if you are in front of your computer, if you're at home or at the office, make sure, if possible, to pull up your social media profiles as you listen along, because we're going to get some incredible tips that are really going to help you, as the title of the episode suggests, getting the most out of social media. And we are joined by social media marketing expert, speaker Corinna Essa. And she's quite the knowledgeable gal when it comes to social media. And I really believe you're going to benefit from her advice and you're going to be able to implement her actionable tips right away. The show notes for today are over at yanilunga.com/episode 156. All right, time to get started. Here is getting the most out of social media with Corinna Essa. Hey everybody, today we are joined by another great guest expert who's gonna share her social media marketing expertise with us. She's the CEO of Social Media Worldwide, a company that helps entrepreneurs and businesses strategically leverage social media. She's been a guest speaker for the World Internet Summit, and she's known internationally as the go-to girl for anything, and I mean anything, social media marketing. It's with great pleasure that I welcome on the show Corinna Essa. Hey Corinna, how's it going?
I'm well, thank you, and thanks for having me.
Is my pleasure. So let's dive right into it because we have quite some ground to cover. So I said you're the CEO of Social Media Worldwide and your site is socialmediaworldwide.com. So can you tell the listeners a little bit more about how you came about with Social Media Worldwide, number one, and number two, what your company can do for all the entrepreneurs and small business owners who are here with you and I?
Well, how it started is my dream as a teenager was to become a television producer. So when I left school, I went to study television production in London, and I was doing a few jobs in between for some pocket money to finance my studies, and then I finally started having a few jobs in television. But by the time I was 25 years old, I lost my job for the fifth time. So I was made redundant for the fifth time when I was 25. And it was unfortunate because it was right in the middle of the financial crisis. And at the time I was living in Greece, I was working in Greece, and you might know this already. They still haven't recovered from the crisis. So when I lost my job then, I realized that there was no such thing as job security, but also... Right. I realized that I wasn't going to find a job anytime soon. So what I did is I started teaching English to students as, a private tutor, and just to be able to cover the bills. And my brother at the time was a very successful, and he still is, internet marketer. And for a long time, he used to tell me that I was wasting my time working for other people. And so one day when I had just enough not being able to pay anything. I couldn't cover the rent. It was always an embarrassment to ask, family for money to pay for this and that. And I couldn't stand it anymore. I became allergic to my way of living. And so I decided to call my brother and ask for help, basically, because for a very long time, he was reaching out to me, but I was reluctant to follow his advice because I just couldn't picture myself doing what he was doing. First of all, I had a lot of doubt in myself. I didn't think I could pull it off. And also, it wasn't something I was drawn to. Internet marketing was not my thing. Right. So anyway, I had nothing to lose. I called him up and he said, come to one of my seminars. I'm putting together a seminar in London. So I went to his seminar, and a few people were sharing different strategies about internet marketing. And the one that appealed to me was affiliate marketing on Twitter. So affiliate
Mm-hmm.
marketing is basically the process of selling other people's products for commission. And I thought, well, this sounds pretty easy. You don't need a website. You don't need your own product. You just,
Right.
get other people's products and build a following on Twitter, which it's quite easy. And then you just start promoting that and I started doing that. And very quickly I replaced the income I had lost from working full time as an assistant television producer. So one thing led to another. A lot of people were asking me, well, how are you making money from Twitter? And
Mm-hmm.
so I put together a course called How to Make $700 a Week Thanks to Twitter. And when I first launched the product, I made 16 sales at $1,000. The product was $1,000, $997 to be exact. So the first day I launched the product, I made 16 sales. So when I made, about $16,000 basically in one day, it's something that it would have taken me a year and a half working full time as an assistant TV producer to make. That was it for me. That was the turning point for me. I realized the potential of it. I had realized the
Mm-hmm.
potential when I was doing affiliate marketing on Twitter, but my product launch was really the turning point. I knew at that point that I wasn't going to go back to anything different from internet marketing.
Right.
And and uh, and again, one thing led to another. I sold this course for a year, so that went really well. I think I made about 100 sales that year of that course, and then a lot of people were coming to me and saying that the course sounded interesting, but they just didn't have time to implement it. Do I have a done for you service? So
Mm-hmm.
at the time, I decided that yes, okay, I'll put together a done for you service just for Twitter marketing, where I would basically grow people's following on Twitter and tweet for them and increase the engagement, etc., etc.
Right.
And um, and so at the time, the company was called D4U Social. And then one thing led to another, and people were asking me, "Do you also do Facebook?" And then there's other platforms, and next thing we offer the management of 6 different platforms, including Pinterest, Instagram, Google Plus, LinkedIn, and the company is now called Social Media Worldwide. So it's been going on since 2011, pretty much. And that's
Nice.
that's pretty much the story in a nutshell, with a lot of ups and downs in the meantime, and meltdowns and breakdowns, of course.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Well, thank you, Corinna, for sharing your story with us. It's always interesting to hear how people got to where they are today. And thank you for telling us more about social media worldwide. So you heard it. If you're interested in getting done for you social media marketing and management, socialmediaworldwide.com is definitely the place to go. And like in every episode, you're gonna find the link to Social Media Worldwide and everything else Corinna and I cover in this episode in the show notes. Okay, Corinna, so I'm curious, when obviously I'm sure you and your team have seen like thousands and thousands of social media profiles. When it comes to optimizing the social media profiles, what are some of the common mistakes you have seen and still see entrepreneurs and small businesses make?
Well, the biggest mistake is basically not having a specific sales message or an angle.
Mm-hmm.
So just having random posts at random times with random branding. Sometimes the description on their Facebook page doesn't match the description on Twitter, which doesn't match the description on LinkedIn, for example. So
Right.
not being consistent with the sales message, the angle. Also,
Mm-hmm.
the branding being inconsistent. So there'll be one type of branding on their website, but then you'll have a completely different experience if you land on LinkedIn or land on Facebook.
Right.
So the inconsistencies in branding, and generally um, not basically using these platforms to their full potential. So not optimizing them for search. So not placing
Mm-hmm.
specific keywords in the about section in this description to be found more easily for certain keywords.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving leaving fields empty, so not putting contact details or a website URL, not putting a banner, so things like that will basically allow people to find you more easily and to stand out from all that noise, because there's so much noise on social media. So all these little things where people don't pay attention to these little details, but it has a huge impact in terms of optimization. So these are the main mistakes I see. And generally treating social media, all networks the same, whereas
Mm-hmm.
people don't go onto Pinterest looking for the same thing when they're going on Facebook or when they're going
Right.
on Instagram, you see. So treating all the platforms the same, as if your audience is all the same, looking for the same thing across all social networks. So what people think is smart to do is they just automate everything. So they plug their Facebook with their LinkedIn and their Twitter, and all the messages automatically, get published across all social networks. And so that is definitely a mistake people make, because they're not really optimizing each social network. So I'll give you a
Mm-hmm.
precise example. So on Pinterest, it's mainly women looking to find things to shop or get inspired with ideas, right?
Right.
So based on that, you wouldn't want to be posting something that is not really targeted to women and doesn't appeal to women to buy something, basically treating Pinterest as an online catalog for your things. What people are looking for when they gone to Pinterest is originality, uniqueness. So if you just
Mm-hmm.
you're selling treadmills and you just put a picture of a treadmill there, you're not really doing anything significant. Again, with Facebook, people usually go into Facebook to switch off, to unwind. Um, so they go there more for entertainment. So again, if your posts are dry and a bit boring, again, you're not making the most of Facebook. So all
Mm-hmm.
these things play a huge role.
Okay, and I'm curious, Corinna, because you mentioned when you talked about the different branding among social media platforms and or the site, you talked about having a complete profile, and you also mentioned the banner. So I'm curious, what do you have some tips or some examples of how to leverage the banner? What type of content or information do you think work well to include in a banner on whether it's LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook, the cover image?
There are four elements I always tell people to put on the banner. First of all, the image. The image should either be, if you're selling a physical product, maybe a picture of the physical products you're selling, as well as
Mm-hmm.
a picture of your target audience using the product, right? So for
Mm-hmm.
example, if it's a energy drink and your target audience is women in their 40s, so you would show pictures of your energy drink and maybe a 40-year-old woman, drinking it.
Right.
So a picture of your target audience, very important, so that people can relate to that person when they land on the banner.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other element is a sales message. So I call it a marketing hook. It's basically like a sales headline. So for example, if you're in the weight loss industry, you could say, discover how to lose 5 kilos in a month in 3 easy steps, something like that. Whatever your unique selling proposition is should be on the banner, so it's obvious what
Mm-hmm.
you do and who you do it for. Okay, so that would be the second element to add on the banner. The third element would of course be a link redirecting people to the top of your sales funnel. So if the sales process online starts with people visiting your website, I would put the link of your website. If
Mm-hmm.
the sales process starts with someone picking up the phone to book a consultation, I would put the phone number there, and I would say, book a consultation, dial this number. So basically a sort of call to action. And I would also, for branding purposes, if you're not using the logo as a profile picture, I would put it there as well in a subtle way. Just for branding purposes, I would
Mm-hmm.
put the logo there. So these are the four elements basically I would put on a banner.
Okay, I like it. Thank you so much, Corinne. I think it's very good advice, because in the past we've talked about cover images a little bit, but we haven't dug deeper like we have done with you now. So thank you for that. And you told us that when it comes to different social media platforms, obviously everybody has different business goals, is in a different niche, so they maybe opt for social media A and B, and C and D, for example, isn't for them. You told us the importance of really treating every social media platform as its own entity, because there is no point in automating. You told us audiences on Pinterest are different and are looking for different things than Facebook, LinkedIn, and the other platforms. So when it comes to put together a social media marketing plan. Obviously, this topic alone, we could be here for weeks talking about it. But if we think about the first steps, all the entrepreneurs and small business owners who are here with you and I, Corinna, what are those first steps to take in order to put together a successful social media marketing plan?
Well, first you need to decide what are the goals. What is it that you want to achieve on social media? So some people, they just want to achieve social proof. So they, people maybe are looking, are looking at their profiles on social media, and they want to show they've got a big following of engaged people. Especially for businesses who are about to sell their businesses, where how you appear is very important in order to sell your business. So depending on the goal, so some people, as I said, they're just looking for social proof, a big audience. Some people, they just want a small community of engaged people. They just want to basically breed a group of people who are brand evangelists. So for them, it's not so much the quantity, but the quality of people. Some people, they want to use it to drive sales. Some people want to build their mailing list. So regardless of what your goal is, you need, after you've decided on your goal, you need to reverse engineer. And the next step is deciding which social network or social networks you are going to use. So again, you don't have to be on all social networks. I mean, we're a social media company and we're not on all social networks.
Right.
So, so decide on which social network fits your client avatar, I guess, the best. So you can pick one, maybe two or three. And then based on that, you decide, well, what are the keywords I'm going to be listening to? So, because social media is not only about, starting conversations, it's also about continuing conversations. So deciding what keywords you're going to be listening to. So for example, again, if you're in the weight loss niche, are you going to be listening to the keyword weight loss for moms, or post-pregnancy weight loss, whatever keywords it is that you want to listen to. So that also is to be added on the plan. The hashtags they're going to be using as well. So usually there are two categories of hashtags: your own hashtag, and then the existing most generic, most popular hashtag. So deciding on that, and then deciding on the frequency of posts and the type of post. So I always tell people try and avoid basically one-dimensional posts. So deciding on the themes, the different themes. So let's say you're in the weight loss niche and you want to, you can talk about lifestyle, you can talk about nutrition, all the different themes around that. And then and then basically you would put together the frequency, how many times a day or how many times a week, and what best times to post. So it's basically deciding. A plan is basically you making decisions about what you're going to execute, and a plan is always a work in progress, because you set a plan at first, but then some things will work better than others, so you always fine tune your plan. So initially, the first plan we put together for our customers is just based on our assumptions. Based on our assumptions, we are going to do that. But then we change things around, because, your audience basically tells you what they like, what they don't like. So that's basically what a plan includes in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you. That's great. And I like the fact that you emphasize the importance of, first of all, monitoring and listening to your audience on different social media platforms. And then also that you said it that, a marketing plan is a work in progress, meaning that you start with a goal, you reverse engineer, and then you take the first steps, and then you see what happens. You listen to your audience, and they're definitely gonna help you shape your message or shift your focus a little bit. So you said it, if you're in the weight loss industry, for example, you can start by focusing on one thing specifically, and then you see that maybe you're often asked a question, or there is a type of content that resonates more than others, so you may want to push that envelope a little bit more. And when it comes to engagement and connecting with our customers on social media, do you have any advice, Corinna? Have you seen something working relatively well for social media worldwide and or some of your clients?
What works well to increase engagement at the moment, and this could change, is basically images and videos. So images and videos, but not the ones that have been seen over and over again, and the videos that,
Stock images.
yes, exactly. So images, basically what people are drawn to is pictures of people, especially on Instagram. Engagement peaks when you show pictures of people without any filters used. So
Mhm.
pictures of people, uh, real pictures, and also pictures that are unique. So, for example, something really creative that people haven't come across,
Right.
that tends to go really well. Videos as well on Facebook, 4-minute long videos of yourself, videos that don't look too professional, and that don't look too salesy or too corporate. So videos, it
Mhm.
could be me, just, me with my iPhone and just recording some sort of video, right? That sort of video tends to work a bit better. The ones that don't look like they've had a lot of work done, or that they're too
Yeah.
salesy or corporate. So that tends to work a bit better in general. Again, it depends on the audience, it depends on the industry
Right.
and on the social network. But in general, that's the trend we're seeing. Visuals work really well, and videos, short videos.
Okay, so images and videos, and maybe some people are thinking, well, okay, images, but I'm not a designer, and this kind of thing. So, would you recommend using tools like Canva or PicMonkey?
Yes, I mean, we use graphic designers in house, and they do a great
Hmm.
job. But if you don't have them as a resource, then definitely Canva is great, PicMonkey is great, and again, just pictures you've taken from your iPhone tend to work really well as well. So yeah, I wouldn't rule that out.
Yeah, so some kind of behind the scenes images and or videos could work very well.
Absolutely. I mean, for businesses, when you show pictures of the team, or when you humanize the brand, I call it humanizing the brand. When
Hmm.
show pictures of yourself or the team in a casual environment, that works really well. So you really don't really need any fancy graphic design.
Yeah, no, I like it. And I think that also the kind of the rise of platforms like Periscope, for example, really work in that direction. Because if you think about it, when you watch a scope on Periscope, you would feel a bit weird if it was this super professional production with lights and everything. You expect it to be something like relatively informal, probably shot with an iPhone, or anyways a smartphone or a tablet. So I think that that's also something, guys, that you should incorporate into the videos you use on Facebook, like Corinna told us, or Twitter, whatever the case may be. And when it comes to social media, early on, Corinna, you told us that one of the goals people may have with their social media marketing strategy is lead generation. So on your site, you have a few resources that discuss lead generation strategies on different social media. There was one in particular that focused on Twitter that I wanted to ask you about. So can you tell us a little bit more about some things we can do to generate leads through Twitter?
Well, there's a tool called Twitter Cards on Twitter that's available if you have an advertising account on Twitter, and it
Mm-hmm.
allows you in a tweet basically to add a call to action. And when users click on that call to action, it automatically captures their name and email. So we call that a one-click opt-in in our world, and so people don't have to manually submit their name and email in exchange for whatever freebie you're giving to them. So it's a great way to build a list. And again, the secret behind list building is giving something of great value for free. And a mistake people make when it comes to building their list is they offer things that are not considered of high value. They give
Mm-hmm.
something away for free because it's convenient for them, instead of really putting time and effort into giving something of value in exchange for people's names and emails to start building a list. That's why some companies build their list really fast, because they're giving $100 vouchers, or 50% discounts, and other people
Right.
just give a 2 or 3 page report or an ebook that's got old information, for example. So it's all about giving the best for free in order to generate leads, so that you break the barrier. There's always a barrier online. I need to like you and trust you before I do anything, even give you my email
Right.
address. So it really breaks the barrier when you give something of really good value, and that is not available freely somewhere else. That's also important. and and um and Twitter cards just facilitate the process. It creates a nice tweet with an image and a call to action, and then when people click on it to download or get whatever it is that you giving away for free, then their name and email is captured. So that would be my best, I think, lead generation tip here on Twitter.
Okay, I like it. So Twitter cards, again, make sure to go to the show notes page of this episode so you find the link to the post Corinna wrote on this specific topic, the link to the Twitter cards and everything else we have discussed so far. Okay, and I'm curious, Corinna, because obviously there are more social media platforms, and once again, you told us it's important to treat every platform differently. And still, with lead generation, would you happen to have some tips for generating leads on Facebook and LinkedIn?
Well, on Facebook, I think at the moment, if you would have, it's starting to become a sort of paid social network. So
Right.
you have to have a bit of a budget for Facebook ads, but boosted posts work really well when you give something away for free. Short, introducing it with a short video. So combining lead generation with video. So video tends to do really well on Facebook, especially 4-minute long videos of you in a casual environment, so it doesn't look too salesy. And so that would work really well. A video introducing your free giveaway on LinkedIn. I would say they have a publishing platform that used to be available only to a handful of people on LinkedIn, but they have this new publishing platform, which is like having your own blog within LinkedIn.
Right.
And so it allows you to basically publish an article in the area of your expertise. But what's great about that is every time you do, all your connections are emailed about it. So let's say you have 3,000 connections, then, 3,000 people receive an email from LinkedIn saying, hey, this person just posted this article, check it out. And then within that article, you could send people back to whatever it is you're giving away for free, to capture names and emails or phone numbers or contact details. So I think on LinkedIn, that's the best way, is taking advantage of their new publishing platform that's now available to the public, and leveraging the fact that when you do, everyone gets emailed about it. So it's like sending a very big broadcast message to all your contacts.
Yeah, and the good thing about that, I think, is that since the broadcast message isn't sent from you but from LinkedIn, you're not gonna look like you're being pushy, because it's LinkedIn that sends the notification. So Twitter cards for Facebook, boosted post or Facebook ads with Facebook. And again, guys, remember what Corinna told us, that 4-minute long videos work very well. And then for LinkedIn, take advantage and leverage the LinkedIn publishing platform. Corinna, this has been great. I'm curious if people would like to connect with you or say thank you or maybe ask you a question. What is the best way to do that?
The best way is, of course, on social networks. We're on Twitter, so twitter.com/SMW online. SMW stands for Social Media Worldwide, so SMW online. And same on Facebook, facebook.com/SMW online, or on my blog, socialmediaworldwide.com/blog. And you can comment back, and I usually comment back myself. So feel free to leave a comment or ask any questions there.
Perfect. So you heard it, different ways to get in touch with Corinna, Essa. Once again, make sure to check out the show notes so you find the links to all the platforms Corinna just mentioned. Corinna, thank you so much for being here with us, telling us more about your story, about your company, Social Media Worldwide, and sharing your social media marketing and lead generation tips with us. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, we are back. Corinna, thank you so much for being here with us and kind of hosting this sort of social media workshop / podcast interview. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to sharing your expertise with all of us. And you heard what Corinna shared with us. When you use social media, you should look at every platform in a more strategic way. So what are your goals with Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram or any social media platform you're using or you're thinking about using? Is it building social proof, or maybe is it to simply network with colleagues, influencers, prospects, or perhaps you want to leverage the different platforms to grow your email list? Once you have identified your goal, make sure to work on a social media marketing plan that is going to help you taking the steps toward that goal. You heard it. The show notes for today's episode are over at janilunga.com/episode 156. And you heard it during the interview. Corinna's company, Social Media Worldwide, they do provide social media services. So that's an option. If you feel like you need some help, definitely check out socialmediaworldwide.com. I want to wrap up this episode with a quick update on the Podcast Success Summit. So a couple of weeks ago, I told you I'm putting together this digital conference for podcasters and people interested in podcasting. Well, I said there were 20 to 25 confirmed speakers. The number has now doubled. I mean, I have 50 plus confirmed speakers. I mean, I told you this was going to be big, right? More details about the Podcast Success Summit coming soon. This is it for this week. Thank you so much for joining Corinna and I, and thank you for supporting the podcast. I'm really, really thankful.
Thank you for listening to the 360 Entrepreneur Podcast. For more tips and tools, head over to www.janilunga.com.